good to see you. Hi, television family. How you doing? Welcome to Tuesday, the 22nd day of June, 2021. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is already 72 degrees outside of our studios. If you have any outdoor plans at all, get her done, because we're going to start warming up. Well, we had a pretty warm day yesterday. 93 was our forecast high. We're going to be hovering right around the mid-90s for the next couple of days. There's a little bit of push of marine air coming through from the Puget Sound area. It's going to give us a few more high clouds than yesterday, but more importantly, and this is the big concern, it's going to be breezy for the Wenatchee Valley today, and also say up in the Aniat area, Chelan could get a little breezy. Don't want that. Now, there's no red flag warning because the relative humidity isn't low enough yet, but we could get one for tomorrow. It's still going to be kind of breezy tonight and tomorrow as well. Then we dispatch with the winds, and then we just like move into the oven. We could see temperatures we have never seen before by the weekend. I'm not kidding you. I mean, just blistering hot. Here's a tip. Check your AC unit. Just do it now. Don't just turn it on and assuming it's going to work just fine. Check the air filters, check the compressor, do all that stuff, because the last thing you want is to have your air conditioner go on the fritz. By the time we get to the weekend, your scorching hot weather forecast is coming up. It was a busy news day around the bullpen. We'll fill you in with the news that you need to know to get your Tuesday going. Sports. We're done with high school sports. That they wrapped up over the weekend. So we're going to be basically concentrating on baseball and Seahawks. They wrapped up their mini camp yesterday. We'll have a few quotes from some Seahawks players and coaches. When we have sports, we'll have the obscure holiday, a very special obscure holiday. Today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike Mignotti's opinion, and I mentioned AppleSox baseball. We visit with Joel Norman every Monday, the voice of the AppleSox, because they don't play any Monday games. We had a chance to go to Paul Thomas Senior Field and catch up with Joel to talk about this week's games. They'll be down in Longview to take on Cowlitz, then down in Corvallis to take on the Knights on a road trip before they come back to town next week. So AppleSox baseball, our topic with Joel Norman. In the back half of the show, 2 minutes after the hour, almost 3 minutes after the hour, let's do what we always do. Turn on them Sky-Fi cameras and take a look at the beautiful area that we call home, God's country, as we take a look at the Wenatchee Valley proper. You'll notice it's a little hazier today. And again, there's just a few high clouds that will be floating by as we have just a weak marine push that's coming through from the Puget Sound area. They set all kinds of records. Almost every city and town in western Washington set record highs. They're going to be a little bit cooler as a weak marine air pushes through, and then it's going to kind of slide over to us. It's not going to really affect the Columbia Basin a great deal, but here in the Wenatchee Valley, a little worried about winds in the 15 to 20, maybe 25 mile an hour range in Aniat and Wenatchee. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Good morning to the valley proper. And again, it's already 72 degrees. It's already 77 in Ephrata. Get ready for some cooking temperatures. Camera 2. We are off to visit. Wow, beautiful view. I want to say from the Waterville camera, Megan? Yeah, okay. Gorgeous view there. Waterville, of course, is the county seat, and it's up there about 4,000 feet in elevation. Now, that's not actually in Waterville. It's out on a little bluff near the Columbia River, but a spectacular view looking all the way down to the Wenatchee Valley from our Waterville camera. That is stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I don't know how far that is. I mean, how far is that from where the camera tower is to the Clockham and Mission Ridge off in the distance? A long way, but a stunning view in the mighty Columbia. Again, running high. It's going to start lowering down, by the way, and warming up starting next week as most of the snow melt from the upper elevations will begin to dissipate in the hot temperatures. Camera number 3. We are off to see, is that the monitor camera? That's the monitor camera. So beautiful monitor, the Wenatchee River. The orchards are just getting the job done right now. I don't know what this incredibly warm weather does to the fruits. I suppose really not much. We're now almost full bore into the cherry season. I'm liking that. And then we move on into peaches and eventually pears. So that'll make Cal happy, and apples and stuff. Orchards sitting there getting the job done in beautiful monitor. And camera number 4. Can't wait to what we're, Billy Goat. It's always good to see our friends at Billy Goat. I wonder how the golf courses are doing this time of the year. Most people just don't want to go out and play golf when it's 100 degrees in the afternoon. But you know, if you get out there in the early morning hours, if you're a dew sweeper, you're good to go. Alta Lake is in the lower right-hand corner, the Alta Lake Golf Course directly below you. And we're looking all the way to Canada, where they use the metric system. So it's not going to be as hot there. Because they measure in Celsius, not Fahrenheit, right? So it makes it feel a lot cooler. Good morning to Okanagan County from your friends down here in Chelan County and Douglas County. All right, 5 minutes after the hour, 2 slides to show for you. Very important. First of all, going to be a little breezy today. Again, no red flag warning issued, but if the relative humidity gets much lower than where it's at now, they could issue a red flag warning. Right now, the relative humidity is at 41%. Of course, it'll get drier as the day progresses, but we are going to be dealing with some wind today and Wednesday. So it depends really on where you live. So no red flag warning yet, but boy, any fire that gets going, especially this afternoon as the wind picks up in intensity, yikes, just keep your fingers crossed that we can get through the next 48 hours without anything getting going. It's just common sense. Don't burn anything outside. Just don't, and we'll all be happy. Now, as far as the temperatures are concerned, hot. Can you even make that out? I mean, that is just like mercury hot. Excessive heat this weekend. We can see temperatures on Sunday and Monday that we haven't seen in generations. I kid you not. This is a great idea, again, to check on your air conditioning unit to make sure it's in good working order. Check the filter. Remember, we had all that smoke from the wildfires over Labor Day weekend in early September of last year that may have clogged up your filter just a little bit. Break out the sunscreen, lots of water. The heat wave isn't quite here yet, but it's coming, and very rarely do we say dangerous heat. But yeah, when it gets that hot, you just got to stay inside. That's all there is to it. Scorching hot temperatures. Wow. Remember the summer of 2014 and the summer of 2015? We had, 4 or 5 days, 6 days in a row over 100 degrees. We got up to 105 and 106 a couple of times. It'll be warmer than that by Sunday and Monday. In fact, without further ado, from the National Weather Service, here's your forecast. You'll notice that big bright yellow thing. That ain't going anywhere. Those aren't typos. Now, 98 today, again, with a little bit of wind, and since it's kind of cooler air coming in, we may not get to that 98. We got to 93 yesterday, which was not quite the forecast high, but there's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. Again, winds out of the west about 7 to 14 miles an hour, gusts above 20 at times. The wind will be with us all night tonight, 68 for the overnight low. The winds will begin to die down a little bit Wednesday night as the last of that marine air pushes out. So it's going to be a little bit cooler on Wednesday, and then here comes the cooking. Thursday, we bump back up to 96. We'll be in triple digits by Friday. I'm not kidding you. Look at Sunday and Monday, 109, 110. Look at the overnight lows, near 80 degrees for the cold temperatures. 109, 110. That is unbelievably hot and has rarely been seen in the north central Washington area. And by the way, it's supposed to be that way for Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Oppressive heat coming our way. Hope you're ready for it. 8 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. When we come back, we got your news on this Tuesday morning. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Kids are resilient. I just love their energy. They bounce back so quickly. I love the stories they tell. I love just their charisma, their character. I love to see that subtle smile that you pull out of a kid, when you start talking with them about something they really like. I just love what I do, and I can't imagine I would be as happy doing anything else.
Tipsy Canyon Winery has become the place to go for fine wine and unbelievable views of the Chelan Valley. And now there's even more to enjoy. A new bandstand hosts live music every Thursday night during the spring and summer. The oversized fire pit's a favorite gathering place in the fall and winter. Tipsy Canyon has become a year-round destination for wine lovers. And while things have changed, what remains the same is that at-home feel provided by Mark, Tammy, and Lexi Garland. Stay for the moment that becomes the memory at Tipsy Canyon.
Ten minutes after the hour, 72 degrees in downtown Wenatchee. We're on our way to at least the mid-90s today. Mid-90s on Wednesday, upper 90s Thursday, 100 degrees by Friday, near 110 degrees by Sunday and Monday. Here are your headlines. A GoFundMe page has been set up to help the family of motorcycle stuntman Alex Harville of Ephrata. It's raised about $85,000 as of yesterday morning. Of course, as you know by now, Harville died last Thursday while practicing for a world record jump attempt at the Moses Lake Air Show over the weekend. The Grant County coroner said an autopsy did determine that Harville died accidentally of blunt force trauma. He is survived by his wife and 2 young sons. East Wenatchee has reached agreement to purchase a new home for the city's police department. The city council last week approved the $4.23 million purchase of the 2-story building at 50 Simon Street. It was the former home of the State Home and Community Services offices. The council agreed with the Mayor Jerry Lee Crawford that buying the existing building for the new police station was much less expensive than constructing a new building, which Crawford estimated would cost about $12 million. The city has been looking for a new home for the police department for years, saying it has outgrown its current location at City Hall. A bypass road is now in place on the South Lakeshore Drive as Chelan County Contractors launches a flood mitigation project at Slide Ridge. There'll be automated traffic lights will be used on each side of the bypass for the duration. Project is supposed to last about 6 months. This is north of the Cove Marina on Lake Chelan. Landslides, as you know, have plagued the area for years, and the project includes the installation of a 108-foot bridge, and that will allow debris coming off the ridge to flow under the bridge and not over the roadway. The $3.2 million project is being funded by the County Flood Control Zone District and a $1.3 million grant from the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The Wenatchee Police Department is asking for your help on the theft of, a Cobalt job box. A couple of suspects apparently made off with it in the middle of the night from Foothills Middle School. School Resource Officer Jared Shepard said the two were seen on security video at about 10 o'clock on June 12th carrying the box away from Foothills Middle School. Anybody with information on the 2 men or on the theft asked to call Officer Shepard at 888-4244. With most COVID-19 restrictions scheduled to be lifted by the end of June, organizers of the 4th of July fireworks show in Wenatchee expect to be, going full bore for a large event this year. Of course, as you know, last year, the annual Independence Day celebration at Walla Walla Point Park was limited to fireworks, but no in-person attendees. Wenatchee Valley 4th organizers say they're preparing for a large gathering. The fireworks show will be back. The Wenatchee Big Band will be there. There'll be vendors in the park, a beer garden, entertainment on the main stage, so it looks like it is a go. And another sign that summer this year will not be like summer last year. Boy, doesn't that look enticing right now. The Wenatchee Public Pool will be lifting most of its COVID-19 restrictions on July 5th. Oops, that's kind of, if you can tilt your head to the left, you can read that. Reservations will no longer be required for lap swims. Family swim has been changed to public swim. Again, no reservations are needed. And the city's park wading pool program, that looks enticing. That started on Monday, the first time the wading pool has been open since the summer of 2019, just in time for the heat wave. That's heading our way. The wading pools at Washington Park, Pennsylvania Park, and Kiwanis Meadow Parks are open Monday through Friday from 1 to 5 through August 13th. There'll be a job fair tomorrow. It's sponsored by the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce and the Wenatchee Downtown Association. It's aimed to help both job seekers and businesses that have struggled to fill open positions. The job fair is tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Wenatchee Convention Center. Downtown Association Executive Director Linda Haglund sat down with me and she told me the need for workers crosses many industries.
So I started hearing, as everyone did, as we are preparing to open up, the difficulty that businesses are having with being able to staff adequately to open up. Not everybody needs employees, but those who do really need employees. And I was hearing it from all industry sectors, not just in the downtown. And so these are really great jobs that they can't get help for. The other thing I was hearing is a little bit, I know this will shock you, a little bit of the fatigue of all of this, right? They're getting their businesses open or their restaurants open. It feels like it's been a ping pong game, right? Up and down and bounce the ball. And now they didn't know if they could call employees back. Now they need to. And the struggle they're having with those who are unemployment, but more than that, those just trying to get the word out who is hiring. So I went to the chamber and said, we need to do this. We need to do a community job fair where it's free and anybody seeking employees could come and anybody looking for a job to come. And that's what we're doing. You know, Dan, I don't know if there has ever been a better time to get a job than right now. I've talked to many people about, you hear in real estate of a seller's market or a buyer's market. This is definitely an employee market right now, not necessarily an employer market, right? So if you are a high school kid or a college kid looking for a summer job, what better way to try something you've always wanted to think about maybe doing? You have a chance to do that right now.
Is there a possibility that there are going to be some businesses, be it the service industry or anything along those lines, that say we're ready to roll open and be a complete, just like it was pre-COVID, but now we don't have the warm bodies to operate? Are we getting close to that?
That's where we are. So if you look at businesses going from 25 to 50% capacity to now 100, many of them can't do that because they don't have the staffing to facilitate it. I was actually walking in downtown the other day. There was a sign on a door and said closed due to lack of staff. So they had to close early because the staff they did have for some reason could not come in, and they didn't have that pool of staff they could draw from. PPP, that PPP loan allowed a lot of these businesses to retain their employees. We're not necessarily hearing from them. It's hotels, it's food service, but the PUD's going to be there. These are amazing jobs, Confluence Health. There are a lot of, like I said, really great jobs, above minimum wage jobs.
By the way, my complete conversation with Linda Haglin, the Executive Director of the Wenatchee Downtown Association, will air on tomorrow's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Those are your headlines at 17 minutes after the hour. Is Grant's promo ready to go? We do not have Grant's promo ready to go. Let me just say that the handsome and debonair Grant Olson will be handling the anchor duties today, and the even more handsome and even more debonair Eric Granstrom with sports will come your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. 5, 6, and 10 o'clock tonight. The news and the weather with Grant, and sports with Eric. Don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. You can do it. You can just go online. You can go to our Facebook page and drop us a note via Facebook Messenger. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com if you so desire. Or you can pick up the telephone and call us at the number that you see at the bottom of your screen. Or if you go to our homepage, you'll see the Contact Us icon. Pretty self-explanatory. Going to take a break. Mariners didn't play yesterday. Neither did the AppleSox. They both play tonight. We'll preview that. Plus, we'll talk a little Seahawks with sports. We'll have the obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays, an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and my weekly AppleSox update with the voice of the AppleSox, Joel Norman. It's all coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Make being home fun again. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa has just what you need to bring fun back into your backyard. We have a wide selection of artesian spas and swim spas, new and used to choose from. We are happy to announce we are now selling Rainbow Kids play structures with 50 models to choose from. To help finish off your entertainment area, we have patio furniture and Komodo Joe grills. At Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, we have just what you need to bring family fun and entertainment to your backyard. Stop by today.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
20 minutes after the hour, sports. Last weekend wrapped up, an action-packed spring in north central Washington. Back on March 4th, we ended our 369-day stretch without live high school sports here on the NCW Life channel. When we finally got to do sports, we did a swim meet at the Eastmont Aquatic Center, and that began a flurry of 33 broadcasts over the next 103 days. So we're going to catch our collective breath, the crew that does the sports scenes, but we wanted to take a moment to thank you, the viewers, our sponsors, And the local athletic directors, Jeff Carlson at Cashmere, Jim Beeson at Wenatchee, and Russ Waterman at Eastmont. I hope those guys get to take a little bit of a break now. It's been crazy to try and jam all 3 sports seasons into 15 weeks. But we did it, and they did it, so kudos to everybody. Now it's on to baseball. We'll be carrying AppleSox games here on the NCW Live channel, plus a couple of more races at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, and we're already working on a 20-plus game broadcast schedule for the traditional fall sports high school season. So as they say in the world of television, stay tuned. Mariners had the day off on Monday. It was a beautiful day in Seattle. They probably all went to the golf course, so they got to soak up their sweep at Tampa Bay. Now it's back to work. Rockies in the Emerald City for the first of a 2-game series that starts tonight. Mariners are 2 games over 500. They're 38-36. The Rockies, well, they've been struggling this year. They're 30-43. Tonight's starters, Chris Flexen for the M's and Kyle Freeland will go for Colorado. First pitch at T-Mobile Park, 7:10. You can watch it on Root Sports. There were 2 games in the division yesterday. In Baltimore, Yordan Alvarez hit a 3-run home run, and Michael Brantley collected 3 hits in the Astros' 10-2 win over the Orioles. And in Texas, Andy Ibanez's 3-run home run highlighted a 5-run first inning. For the Rangers, they stopped their 6-game losing streak. 8-3 the final, the Rangers over the A's. So Houston is now a full game clear of the A's in the West. Seattle's hit 7 games back. The Angels are 8 games out at first place. AppleSox are in Longview. They begin a 3-game series against the Cowlitz Black Bears tonight. St. Martin's Cole Hatton will toe the rubber for Wenatchee, looking for his first win of the season. First pitch is at 6:35, and you can hear all the action with our friend Joel Norman on Sunny FM. West Coast League play Monday. The Northwest Star Academy beat Corvallis 5-1. Boone Rush pitched 5 innings of shutout ball for the Nighthawks to get the victory. Blake Dickman 3 for 3 to lead Yakima Valley in the Pippins 9-5 win over Cascade Collegiate. The difference in the ball game, a 5-run 6th inning for Yakima Valley on 5 base hits. Other games tonight, besides Wenatchee and Cowlitz, you have Yakima Valley traveling to Ridgefield. Bellingham will host Bend. Cascade Collegiate will play at Walla Walla. Port Angeles will host Highline. And at 7:05 tonight, it's Corvallis at Portland. The Seahawks wrap up 2 weeks of OTAs and minicamp as they prepare for the 2021 season. Players will be back at the VMAC to begin training camp in earnest on July 31st. Fans, of course, are hoping that the loosened COVID-19 restrictions will mean that fans can actually go and watch training camp in person. Wide receiver Tyler Lockett says he's looking forward to having fans back after playing an entire season last year with no fans.
Sometimes you never know what it's like to not have something until you don't have it. And when we didn't have the fans, I mean, you could tell it was different. But the biggest thing that even though you have to find something good about being able to still go out there and play when you have no fans, it really taught me that if there's nobody in the audience, how are you still going to perform? Like, are you only a performer when there's people in the stands? And for me, I had to dig deep, and I had to ask myself, what is my why? If my motivation and inspiration gets bigger because I have people in the stands, then there's a problem. And so for me, it taught me how not to take fans for granted, but how to be able to enjoy and be appreciative that people are actually there. And so I'm excited for the fans to come back. Like, I'm really excited just to be able to go out there. I always call it a concert because that's what it feels like ever since I first stepped on that football field. And so when the fans come back, it's time to get it going.
On the field, the Seahawks are getting used to the brand new offensive scheme that's being introduced by the new offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. Lockett says it's just a matter of repetitions and they'll figure it out.
I think it's been pretty good. Obviously, we're learning a new offense. It's a lot of twists, a lot of turns when it comes to learning a new offense. But the more and more that you really dive into it, the more you really try to study it on the outside, not only at practice, it starts to become very comprehensible. Obviously, it's something that you have to be able to go over multiple times. It's not just something to where, oh, I know the offense, I've been here for a year, I'm good. It's something that you truly have to be able to study over and over and over just so you're ready to go.
Gerald Everett will be a new face roaming the sidelines for the Seahawks. He came over as a free agent from the Rams. When he was with the LA Rams, of course, he worked with Waldron. And he says, Everett, that he's happy to help his teammates learn the new offense.
Oh, as much as I need to, any question that I can be there and answer, or any helpful tips that I can, help tight ends or receivers or running backs, anything that I see, I'm going to speak on, and until they tell me not to, because, obviously this is a professional level, and we just want to be our best selves. So, coming from LA and being kind of familiar than these guys with this scheme, I wouldn't be the best teammate if, I wasn't being a helping hand.
Coach Pete Carroll says he's going to be completely hands-off with Mr. Waldron because he knows how to run an offense, and he says he is the master of his philosophy.
I have not gotten in his way because he has such command of what he's doing. He knows how it fits together, and he's been able to orchestrate the teaching process in a way that's allowed us to do quite a few things for this, for this off season. And I know you can hear from the players; they're impressed with him. He's just left them with a really good impression of his command, his verbiage, the style of teaching has been accessed. These guys are really moving far. So they're impressed. I'm impressed, and like I said to Jen, we're ahead of where we thought we'd be right now. So it's really a tribute that he's done a nice job with this.
Seahawks begin their preseason in Las Vegas. They'll be taking on the Raiders on August 14th, and those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Tuesday. It's 26 minutes after the hour, 73 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley. It's going to be a hot one in the Old Town tonight, so this could not have been a more better or perfectly timed obscure holiday. Today is National HVAC Tech Day. National HVAC Tech Day. We love our HVAC tech guys. We appreciate the technicians who keep our house warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Hopefully you won't have to be calling any HVAC tech guys in the next couple of days to say my air conditioning isn't working real well. These guys are heroes, so thank your HVAC technician for all you do. I got fun facts about air conditioning and heating. Scientific research has proven that if you spend the vast majority of your time in an air-conditioned, cooled environment, you lose your natural tolerance for heat. There you go. The New York Stock Exchange, one of the very first buildings to have AC installed with it. By the way, closing the AC registers does not save you money. It actually causes problems because of the extra burden it puts on the compressor of the air conditioner. So don't close your AC register, not a good idea. The Romans used heated floors during the cooler months, and it makes them the first people to use centralized heating. It's been estimated that the amount of energy used in this country in heating our homes in the winter and cooling our homes in the summer exceeds the amount of electricity used in the entire continent of Africa. We like to suck up the juice here in the United States. How much did it cost to install air conditioning in the White House during the Hoover administration? About $30,000. That's $455,000 in today's money. And air conditioners were one of the reasons that movies became extremely popular in the 1930s and 40s when they began to perfect or certainly improve upon the efficiency of air conditioners. People loved to go to the movies in the hot summer months because they could go inside and cool off. That would be the big sign on the movie theaters, air conditioned. Get out of the heat. Happy HVAC Tech Day. We love them. There's your social media hashtag for those guys. And again, here's hoping that you don't have to call them, all right? That wouldn't be good. 29 minutes after the hour today in history. Galileo Galilei came up with the idea that the sun is the center of the universe, not the earth. And the Holy Office in Rome, the Pope said, sorry, Galileo Galilei, you don't know what you're talking about. The earth is the center of the universe, not the sun, and you must recant. And Galileo Galilei said, oh, nerds, okay, I'll just say it. I know it's not true, but if I say it, will you quit bugging me? And the Holy Office in Rome said, yeah, we'll quit bugging you. So he was forced to recant his view that the sun, not the earth, is the center of the universe. Happened on this day, June 22nd, 1633, 388 years ago today. Since then, we figured it out. Yeah. Nazi Germany made two major blunders in World War II. One of them, of course, was stopping the tanks in France. They took a week off, and that allowed for the evacuation of Dunkirk, and 100,000 or more troops were able to cross the English Channel. They should not have done that. And the other big mistake was turning back the other way and going east and waging war against Stalin, and they began to do that. On this day, June 22nd, 1941, it was called Operation Barbarossa, and Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union. Even though they had a treaty We won't fight each other. So, of course, now Adolf Hitler and the Nazis had two fronts to worry about. Oops. Nazi Germany broke their treaty with Stalin and invaded the Soviet Union June 22nd, 1941. Speaking of the war, June 22nd, 1944, the GI Bill comes into existence as President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signs the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944, knowing that when the war was over, all of these troops would be coming home and they would either want an education or they would want jobs or they would be unemployed. Of course, the GI Bill has been one of the great successes in this country's history. My dad got to go to law school because of the GI Bill, which became the law of the land on this date 77 years ago today. And rivers are not supposed to catch fire. After all, rivers have water in them, right? On June 22nd, 1969, the Cuyahoga River that flows through Cleveland catches fire. It caught fire. What caused it? It was just a polluted, gunky mess. That's why it caught fire, and everybody went, okay, this isn't right. And because the Cuyahoga River caught fire in Cleveland, Ohio, we have the Clean Water Act and the Environmental Protection Agency. How do you put out a fire in water? That would be my challenge. By the way, the Cuyahoga River is now clean. It better be. Rivers don't catch on fire much anymore, which is probably good news. 31 minutes after the hour, birthdays. Let's see, me and Bobby McGee for the good times, helped me make it through the night, Sunday morning coming down, hit after hit after hit. In the late 60s and early 70s, he was about the most successful songwriter in America, dabbled in acting and a few other things. Chris Christopherson is 85 years old today. Happy birthday, Chris. Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete, considered by many to be the greatest collegiate basketball player of all time. He is still the all-time leader with points scored, 3,667. He averaged 44 points a game, and he did all of this in the days before the three-point shot and the days before the shot clock and the days before freshmen were eligible to play on the varsity. That is remarkable. Those records may never, ever be broken. Pistol Pete Maravich, who died of an undetected heart defect at the age of 40 in 1988. He was the youngest member inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Meryl Streep. Hi, Meryl. 21 Academy Award nominations, 3 victories. She probably should have won about 5 or 6. She has more nominations as an actor or an actress than anybody ever. Second on that list is Jack Nicholson with 12. She has almost twice as many nominations as Jack Nicholson. Meryl Streep, the most successful actress of her generation, maybe of all time. 72 years old today. Also 72. I had a crush on Lindsay Wagner when I was a kid. The Bionic Woman was a terrible, terrible, terrible show. It's just trash. It's garbage. But Lindsay Wagner was not. So happy birthday to Lindsay Wagner, one of my childhood crushes, also 72 years old today. And Dustin Johnson. Life is good for Dustin. Just about a month ago, he lost his #1 world ranking to John Rahm. John Rahm, of course, just won the U.S. Open, but Dustin Johnson spent a great deal of time as the #1 ranked golfer in the world. And he is still one of the greatest golfers ever of his generation. Dustin Johnson, 37 years old today. My swing has been compared to that of Dustin Johnson by me. 34 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. Mike Minotti has got an opinion of our weekly check-in with Joel Norman and the Wenatchee AppleSox. Talking baseball with Joel. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
What is home? A place to gather, a place to grow, provide shelter for the ones we love, eat, drink, restore, build trust. It's a place to rest when the workday is done, a place to find quiet after a night of good fun. What an honor we have at Guild to help own, finance, create, pave the way to live in home.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I-dos to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it in the radio or seeing it in the newspaper, I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCW Life.
Hi, I'm Shauna Larson. I'm the designated broker here at Laura Mounter Real Estate. We are a locally owned firm, and we've worked hard to earn our reputation of always doing business the right way. Laura Mounter Real Estate is continually investing in the best technologies and highest quality marketing. For these reasons, our community has voted us the world's best real estate office for the past 5 years. If you have real estate needs, let a Laura Mounter real estate agent show you the difference.
Building. It's in our blood. Building something out of nothing. It takes heart, grit, and hard work. At One Way Construction, our crew is our family. With decades of contracting experience and our in-house design team, we bring a unique perspective to building. We know that if we work together, we are capable of reaching heights that are impossible to reach alone. The possibilities are endless.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, has become kind of a fad mental health diagnosis. People claim to have it or believe that experience such as having to go through a metal detector at a school can bring it on. Sorry, but no. The criteria for PTSD diagnosis, and I quote from the DSM-5, is exposure to actual threatened death, serious injury, or sexual violence. Believe me, folks, PTSD is a serious diagnosis, and the symptoms are miserable. No one who understands the terrible significance of having PTSD would ever claim to have it if, in fact, they didn't. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
Today, we're doing some employee development with our technicians.
Today, we're going to learn how to give our home a hug.
It's not just a motto, but a unique way that Patriot technicians care for your home.
Oh, no, come on. You really got to get in there and get your arms around it, give it a good embrace. All right, hey, good job.
I think the training is going really well.
Heating and cooling will give your home a hug.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition.
Join us for the NCW Library Show. We've got something for everyone. Our show is full of inspiration, learning, and fun. Check out our do-it-yourself STEM activities. Enjoy story time with Miss Claire. Get moving with an easy yoga flow with Miss Melissa. Get book recommendations from our NCW librarians, and much more. Tune in each week for a new episode. Also, find us online at ncwlibraries.org and follow us on Facebook for the latest library news and programs. Be kind and read on.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snow blowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. As you know, each and every week, with one exception, we put aside some time on Monday mornings to visit with our friends at the Wenatchee AppleSox. The voice of the AppleSox, Joel Norman, to my immediate left. Pretty difficult weekend for the Sox. They lost 2 of 3 to the Bend Elks. They won in a very exciting game that we televised here on Friday night. Took one on the chin big time Saturday night, and then a very exciting nail-biter in extra innings, but they came up on the short end of the stick on a Sunday. But a long homestand, longest one of the year. Joel, I guess all in all, it was pretty successful.
Yeah, 9 games overall. We win 5 of them. You would have loved to have had the series this past weekend against Bend. It was a team coming in who had lost 5 in a row. Well, lost 4, then lost 5 with Friday's loss. I think that it was an example of some missed opportunities for the AppleSox. You love what they were able to do at the plate on Friday, and they did even better the next couple days, but the pitching staff, which had really been so strong until the past couple of days, just really had a couple tough days at the office.
But good news, there was a lot of people here on a Sunday. Yeah, the best turnout of the year so far on Sunday, I thought, Father's Day. Great crowd.
It was a fantastic environment, and it's one of those cases where you're bummed you couldn't get them a win, but you just really enjoyed that they were all out, and you hope, hey, this is what it's about. This is what we're trying to do every night. So, we hope to see you back here again. And it was a lot of fun. We should have had it, frankly, in the 9th inning. A couple opportunities. I love the competitive nature of our team right now, how they were able to rally back and make this a ball game, but we didn't get the win, and that's the frustrating thing. So that means there's a little more work to do on this upcoming road trip, Dan.
One thing that Coach Sanderson had to be pleased with, especially on Friday night, was your outfield defense. Mm-hmm. It was windy conditions, but a couple of spectacular catches by a couple of pretty good guys with the glove. Saved some runs. Who's kidding who, especially the 9th inning.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Enzo Apodaca in center field leads the way every time. He's just done fantastic as a center fielder. Looks so comfortable out there for a guy who redshirted this past year. He's not alone. Michael O'Hara didn't play in the outfield on Friday, but did the next couple days, including center on Sunday. He looks really comfortable. Dakota Duffalo quietly does a great job in right field. If you're not talking about those corner outfielders, a lot of times it's a good sign. So we like what they're doing in the outfield. We got to clean some things up on the infield. 4 errors yesterday, but again, some of that I think is some of the guys still getting used to a couple things. Tino Bethencourt makes a lot of great plays at third, but that's the hot corner for a reason. And we saw that with Zach Tolia. He had a little trouble there as well. And as you know, Dan, this left side of the infield at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium, incredibly unpredictable. So you just sometimes, it doesn't matter how many times you've played third base, you might not know how that ball's going to go. And unfortunately, you might sometimes get saddled with a couple errors.
Which is why they take infield practice to begin with, folks. So because every field has its own quirks. Every stadium has its own quirks. And good infielders have to realize how far they can get between first base and the dugout, when they practice those foul tips. It's all part of the baseball education.
I think that's the great thing about our coaching staff is when they see something struggling right now, they're doing a great job at adjusting. I think previously what we saw was it was typically, unless things were really, really bad, it was typically the same thing every day, just BP and then let's go play ball. But this year it's a lot different. One of the first days I saw them doing, a group stretch out in the outfield, I thought, I haven't seen that before with the AppleSox, but that's getting with the modern times. This is little things you need to be doing to take care of yourself. And doing things like the ground balls. Yeah, sure, the players don't want to do it. They want to go hit in the cages, but we need to work on those things. Errors have been a real issue, and I think we're making strides, and credit to our coaching staff doing a great job not only pinpointing the problem, but taking the steps to solve it.
Outside of the Pippins, who are playing exceptionally good baseball, I think they're 7-2 in league play. Right. A lot of parity in both divisions of the West Coast League. Nobody's really stepped up and started to run away with it, or nobody's really bad either. It's pretty even keel competition-wise, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think that's the frustrating thing about dropping 2 of 3 this weekend is Yakima Valley was idle in West Coast League play, and this was an opportunity to make a move in the division, as obviously we weren't going to move into first place, but we had a chance to move up a little bit closer in the standings. So that's the frustrating part about dropping 2 of 3 to Bend. But you're right. I think things are starting to even out. Ridgefield got off to a hot start. They're kind of cooling off a little bit. There's a lot of a season left to go. We're nearing mid to later part of June, and it's funky saying that because the first half ends not too far from now. But I think there's still a lot to figure out. But that said, I think we're going to learn a lot about this AppleSox team after this road trip.
And keep in mind, it's not just the AppleSox who are having this huge roster turnover with players coming and going almost on a daily basis with a 40-man roster limit. There was barely enough room in the visiting dugout for the Bend Elks to even sit in there. In fact, a couple of guys went out and sat in the bullpen. There was just no room.
No, you're absolutely right. This is the best time of the year for roster depth because you've got enough guys who are done with their postseason tournaments who are coming and they're joining their summer ball squads. And I think you're right. We saw that this past weekend with both squads. The AppleSox were right at about 33 players, I want to say, this past weekend. Just incredible. I was chatting with our ownership and management. I said, if we ever had an instance where we didn't have enough jerseys for guys, I mean, this has never happened before. But it's a credit to the depth because, Coach Sanderson was prepared if guys had to have their season shortened or whatever it was. But, right now he's just got everyone here, and it's fantastic. You love having a lot of options. You can roll out pinch hitters like you did on Sunday. You can roll out pinch runners like you did on Friday. And you don't feel like you're losing anyone because there's enough other guys still available on the bench.
Is there a certain amount of pressure on Coach Sanderson with 33, 34 guys on the roster ready to play and eligible to play to get them playing time?
I don't think so because I think he knows right now who he wants. Because the way the new players came in just this past weekend, it's pretty clear who stands out. In fact, most of them have, frankly. And that's kind of what you expect from the guys who come in mid-June. These are some of the guys you were waiting for who it was unfortunate they couldn't be to start the year. So I think he's got a good feel, but I think he knows how to work guys in and out, whether it's, just bringing a guy in as a pinch runner, whether a game's not going well, getting a guy a few at-bats at the plate. I think he's got a pretty good feel for that, and he's done a nice job tinkering with the roster in that regard.
Is there still some players that we're expecting, or are we pretty much where we're at now? Most of the collegiate springtime schedule is over for these guys who are playing college ball, so is that pretty much it now?
It's just about it. It might be a couple guys who come here and there. Moving forward, I think there were a couple players he had signed. There was one he had an arm from Lower Columbia who was signed for the full summer but got hurt early in the season. So it's kind of like whenever we get him, whenever he's able to, if he's able to, he'll pitch for us, but we're thinking probably late July or August.
Speaking of Lower Columbia Community College, that's where the AppleSox will be for the next 3 days. We're down in Cowlitz in the beautiful town of Longview for 3 games against the Black Bears and then a weekend trip down to Corvallis. The Oregon trip, the Southern Washington and the Oregon trip, always a pretty fun trip. Absolutely. 6 games in 6 days?
Yeah, that's right. Starting on Tuesday night, and then we go through next Sunday, and turf fields for both. We were talking about the infield here at Paul Thomas with it being grass and the dirt. It's going to be a little different, no doubt about that. But I think that's going to be good because the players always say the turf bounces true. You know how it's going to bounce. You can read that, and a lot of them are familiar with turf. So,
is the batter's box and the pitcher's mound turf as well?
That's correct.
Okay, so that takes some getting used to for those batters who like to dig their right or left foot deep into a bucket to give them a good shove-off thing. You don't get to do that.
It is a little
on
different.
turf, and the same thing with pitchers. They can't dig out their little indentation in the mound and give themselves a little push-off. It takes some time, doesn't it?
It does, and it takes a little adjusting too, but like I said, a lot of these guys are familiar with that. It's just a slight, going back to what you're familiar with since you've been playing on the grass for the last couple weeks.
So again, Cowlitz, the Black Bears for 3 games, and then down to Corvallis. What would be a good road trip? 500? 500 for it's a road trip.
Yeah, it is. It's tough to win on the road, especially in this league. I think, you look at the opportunity in Cowlitz. It's always tough to play anywhere, but that's a team you think is playing kind of how you are. So you'd love to take 2 or 3 there if you can. Corvallis is tough. They're class of the league. They've won 4 years in a row now for a reason. So it'd be great to steal a game there, is the way I look at it. But if you get 1, you're going to get greedy. You want to get 2. So let's just say, I'd say just go win game 1. That way, like they did this past weekend, that takes a little bit of pressure off, but it also gives the opportunity to build on that a little bit as well. But, I would like at least a 500 trip, ideally. I think below that, you're in a little bit of trouble for the first half, and you might be kind of looking forward to the second half. But I've got a lot of confidence in this group. Yesterday was a game that could have gone either way. It's, you really wish you had taken that one, but I think it sets this team up. They're battlers right now. I mean, the pitching staff was struggling a little bit, and the bats had their back for the bulk of the game yesterday.
And they were battlers because they battled and won on Friday night in the game that we televised. It was very exciting, and it showed that this team has some grit, has some heart.
No doubt about it. Yeah. And this isn't the type of team that's just going to put together 3 straight extra base hits, but they're going to find ways to chip away. They're going to do double steals, as you saw, Dan. It's going to be bringing on pinch runners for exactly that. They're going to cash in when there's a wild pitch or a pass ball. And I think that's something this team's got to do. That's going to be the MO, is strong pitching and taking advantage of every base runner. And limiting how many men you leave on the base path is going to determine how far the AppleSox are able to advance this year.
After they return, they'll be back here 1 week from Tuesday for another homestand, which reminds me, tickets. Where are we now in the ticketing process as we get farther and farther away from the COVID world and back to, regular life?
That's right, yeah. So the first 2 games of that homestand coming up, which are next Tuesday and Wednesday, those tickets are currently available because they're still in the month of June. Later this week, we're hoping to have ticket information available for those July games. Just trying to make sure we've got everything set with what the state guidelines are right now, making sure we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's, but that's coming because we're excited. We want to have as many people here, especially for July 3rd, the fireworks night, but we will have ticket information coming up later this week, and of course you can check that out on AppleSox.com.
Joel Norman, the voice of the AppleSox. Again, they'll be in Longview to take on the Cowlitz Black Bears, then down in Corvallis to take on, I forgot Corvallis' team nickname.
Corvallis Knights.
The Corvallis Knights, and then they're back here Tuesday of next week. AppleSox baseball, and I believe we'll be televising that game. Will we not on next Tuesday? I think we are.
You have one of the games next week.
I think we do, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
So, I don't know. I have a slow leak in my head, and sometimes it just stuff comes
well, you'll
right out.
mention it later this week.
Yeah, there you go. Joel Norman, the voice of the AppleSox. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back. Chelan Wireless is your Verizon authorized retailer featuring the latest iPhone and Android devices. Personal or business, they have the plan and the customer service you're looking for.
In these challenging times, Bear Foods is open and ready to help. From health to diet to home, we are here to take care of your needs. Bear Foods, the good food store.
From home furnishings to the latest in home entertainment technology, Deepwater Home and Electronics can provide the selection and the connection for your wireless world.
These days, it can be hard to trust the media. What's true, what's fake, and who is behind the message? I'm a freelance journalist and videographer who has spent years studying the media, interviewing people, writing stories, and producing documentary videos. But I was born and raised in Eastern Washington and grew up working on farms and in the fields. Now I'm taking a look at what local, regional, and national news stories mean to us here in North Central Washington. Join me, Dominic Bonney, for Common Sense on NCW Life TV.
Nice fish. Yeah, that's a beauty. We'll take that one. Whew. Oh boy, that hillside is steep.
WorkSharp presents the Northwest Outdoorsman.
Watch for new episodes of the Northwest Outdoorsman on the NCW Life channel, your local TV station.
At Wenatchee Powersports, we proudly offer the Polaris product line. Polaris builds the highest quality side-by-side in the industry, with off-road capability that's second to none. The Polaris pre-order program allows customers to purchase the vehicle they want without having to select from limited dealer inventory. The Wenatchee Valley has year-round access to some of the best ORV trails in the Northwest. Start your adventure here at Wenatchee Powersports.
KRISTALL'S Restaurant and Lounge in Leavenworth has a warm environment to enhance your dining experience. serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Crystal's Intimate Lounge is a wonderful place to relax and dine with beautiful views of the mountains. Do you have a special occasion coming up? Call Crystal's to reserve their event space. Whether your event is grand, intimate, or casual, Crystal's provides unforgettable food and superb service. Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge, proud to be serving fabulous food and drinks.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week and let's get inspired.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family.
All right, about 4 minutes left to go on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Before we jump into some of the weather details that you're going to need to know, here are your temperatures right now around the region. We are already at 76 here in downtown Wenatchee. Ephrata, you're at 81 already. That's hard to believe. Cashmere's at 70. Chelan, you're at 70 degrees. It's going to be hot. It's a dry heat, like a blowtorch. But the big concern today, the wind. Winds will be picking up in intensity. There's a little trough of marine air that's going to kind of slide through the Cascade gaps. And that means we're a little concerned about the potential of any kind of wildfire that gets going before this potentially historic heat wave comes our way this weekend. So late in the day, those gap winds in the Cascades around 15 to 20 to 25 miles an hour. Entiat area, the Wenatchee area. Right now, there's not a red flag warning because the criteria isn't there yet. It has to be a combination of hot temperatures, wind, and low relative humidity. But right now, the relative humidity isn't down there enough to worry about a red flag warning. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a fire weather watch by this time tomorrow because of the combination today and tomorrow. It's going to be just as windy on Wednesday as it's going to be today. In fact, maybe even a little windier. So that potential of any kind of fire, be it in timber or grass or sage, could just take right off. So we're keeping a very close eye on that. And then we could see temperatures we have not seen in generations coming up this weekend. Over 100 degrees for everybody. So all kinds of records will be threatened as we get into the weekend and right through next week, as this dome of high pressure is a monster, and it's also bringing in some of the hot air from the desert southwest. So make sure your AC unit is working good. Check the filter, check the compressor, because this is going to be the time of the year where maybe your air conditioning unit is going to go on. It's going to be set at the temperature that you want it to be. And with the overnight lows near 80, the overnight lows are going to be borderline hot. Your air conditioning unit is not going to turn itself off. So just a heads up on that before we get into what could be an historic heat wave for North Central Washington. Now that we got that out of the way, here we go. Here's your forecast from the National Weather Service. Sunny and hot today, right around 98, maybe a couple of degrees cooler than that. We hit 93 yesterday. Our normal high, 79 degrees. Our record high in this state is 101. We're not going to get there. But again, a little worried about the wind. Wind out of the west about 7 to 14 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 23 miles an hour on this Tuesday. Tonight, partly cloudy. You'll notice a few high clouds from that marine air that's pushing through the area. We'll dip down to 68 for the overnight low. Windy overnight. Wind's not going to die down. We'll see gusts above 25, maybe even close to 30 miles an hour tonight. Wednesday, more sunshine. Again, breezy, a little bit cooler. High of only 95 on Wednesday, 65 for the overnight low on Wednesday night. By Wednesday night, the winds will begin to diminish, and then we start the warm-up to 96 on Thursday, which is going to feel comfortable compared to Monday and Tuesday. Now look at that. Look at Sunday and Monday. Those aren't typos. 106 on Saturday, 109 on Sunday, 110 on Monday. It's going to be a dry heat like a blowtorch. And by the way, the long-term forecast into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, still temperatures well into the triple digits. There's not going to be any relief in sight for quite some time as we are in for a very hot stretch of weather. Again, National Weather Service is calling this an historic heat wave. The potential is certainly there. So common sense rules the day. Wear light cotton clothing if you have to be outside in the heat of the day. Take lots of breaks, drink lots of water, get into the shade as much as possible. If you have to do any kind of significant physical activity outdoors, do it in the morning hours before the warm-up begins. That's it for us. We'll see you Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye.